D. Panic selling. The correct answer is B. Redlining. Redlining is the term used when lenders deny loans based on the racial demographics of the neighborhood. Lenders are to base credit decisions on the borrower's credit worthiness. Redlining is a violation of the Fair Housing Act. Question 26. Terry received a conventional 30-year loan to purchase his home. Thanks to some large extra payments, Terry will have his home paid for in only 17 years. Which of the following loan terms could charge Terry an extra fee for paying off the home so soon? A. Interest fee. B. Escalation clause. C. Subordination clause. D. Prepayment penalty. The correct answer is D. Prepayment penalty. Some conventional loans include a prepayment penalty clause, which allows a lender to charge the borrower additional fees if the loan is paid off early. Prepayment penalties are not allowed on government loans, such as FHA and VA. Question 27. Mark is not able to make his entire mortgage payment on time each month and has fallen behind on payments. Because of his failure to pay, his lender, ABC Home Loans, sent him notice that they are calling for the remaining mortgage balance to be paid in full in one lump sum immediately. This is an example of A. Judicial foreclosure. B. Subordination clause. C. Acceleration clause. D. Escalation clause. The correct answer is C. Acceleration clause. An acceleration clause allows the lender to call for the note to be paid in full in one lump sum immediately when a borrower falls behind in payments. Question 28. Some loans are structured where the lender places a portion of each payment the borrower makes into a special account to pay the property taxes at the end of each year. What is the account called? A. Escrow account. B. Mortgage account. C. Interest account. D. Savings account. The correct answer is A. Escrow account. In order to ensure that there are no tax liens placed on the collateral property, the lender places a portion of each payment the borrower makes into an escrow account. Question 29. Which of the following loan types would have the highest down payment? A. Rural development loan. B. Conventional loan. C. VA loan. D. FHA loan. The correct answer is B. Conventional loan. Conventional loans require the borrower to pay a higher down payment than government loans. Rural development and VA loans require no down payment. FHA loans many times only require 3 to 5% down, while conventional loans can be 10 to 20% or more depending on circumstances. Question 30. Mortgages that are escrowed break down the monthly payment 4 ways. Each payment pays a portion towards PITI, which stands for A. Principal, investment, taxes, insurance. B. Payment, interest, taxes, investment. C. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. D. Prepayment, insurance, taxes, investment. The correct answer is C. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, insurance. In an escrowed mortgage, each monthly payment is broken down and a portion of each payment is paid to these 4 areas. This practice protects the lender's collateral from tax lines or uninsured losses. Question 31. Agent Anna has a home listed for sale and shows the home to the Quinns, whom she does not have a buyer's agency agreement with. The Quinns are A. Clients. B. Fiduciaries. C. Principals. D. Customers. The correct answer is as long as they are not unethical or illegal. Question 33. Melissa went on a listing appointment and the sellers were asking legal questions. Questions she felt certain she knew the answers to. What should Melissa do? A. Suggest they seek legal counsel. B. Answer the questions. C. Tell them she will find out and get back to them. D. Tell them she doesn't know for sure. The correct answer is A. Suggests they seek legal counsel. An agent can never give legal advice without a license to do so, nor deter customers or clients from seeking legal counsel. Question 34. Agent Terry convinces an owner to list his property way under market value. Terry sells the property to his brother Mark without disclosing the relationship to the buyer in writing. Mark turns around and sells the property for a profit to split with Terry. This is an example of A. Wholesaling, B. Creative agency, C. Stealing, D. Self-dealing. The correct answer is D. Self-dealing. Self-dealing is an intentional misrepresentation of an agent's relationship and interest in a transaction. Question 35. Agent Paula found a buyer for her listing. The seller accepted the buyer's offer, and both parties received copies of the contract documents. The seller decides 1 week prior to closing they no longer want to sell the home. What could happen? A. Paula's broker owes her a commission. B. The buyer owes Paula commission. C. Paula did not earn a commission. D. The seller owes Paula commission. The correct answer is D. The seller owes Paula commission. When an agent brings a ready, willing, and able buyer, and a seller accepts the buyer's offer, the agent has essentially earned their commission. The seller is to pay the agent if the contract is terminated due to the seller's default. Question 36. Larry listed his home for sale with an agent. The property was exposed to an open and free market, and after a reasonable time, the property sold to a buyer unrelated to Larry. This type of sale would be considered A. Fair market value, B. Sale under duress, C. Arm's length transaction, D. None of the above. The correct answer is C. Arm's length transaction. A property exposed to an open and free market and sold after a reasonable period of time to unrelated parties which both acted in their own self-interest is considered an arm's length transaction. Question 37.
Give me that. Give me that.
How is real estate defined? A. Land and all items within the improvements. B. Land including water, air, and improvements. C. Property sold between buyers and sellers. D. Commercial property, but not residential. The correct answer is B. Land including water, air, and improvements. Real estate is defined as land, water, air, and improvements attached to the land. Question 38. A fence that extends onto the land of another from a neighboring property is called an A. Encumbrance, B. Easement, C. Encroachment, D. Escheat. The correct answer is C. Encroachment. Encroachment occurs when an improvement or fixture intrudes upon an adjoining property. Question 39. Marvin owns an easement to use the driveway of his neighbor Bob. Marvin's property is considered the A. Servient estate, B. Life estate, C. Dominant estate, D. Freehold estate. The correct answer is C. Dominant estate. The property that benefits from an easement to another parcel is called the dominant estate. Question 40. Which of the following best describes the economic characteristics of land? A. Demand, utility, scarcity, transferability, situs. B. Scarcity, situs, immobility, utility, demand. C. Situs, transferability, demand, immobility. D. Indestructibility, demand, non-homogeneous, situs. The correct answer is A. Demand, utility, scarcity, transferability, situs. The 5 economic characteristics of land are demand, utility, scarcity, transferability, situs. The lack of any items he attaches to the property which he will use to conduct his business would be A. Property of the property owner, B. Trade fixtures, C. Chattel, D. Real property. The correct answer is B. Trade fixtures. Items and equipment used to conduct business, such as pizza ovens, walk-in coolers, and salad bars, are considered trade fixtures and property of the tenant. Question 42. What is the accumulation of land caused by the natural flow of water called? A. Erosion. B. Accretion. C. Avulsion. D. Alluvion. The correct answer is B. Accretion. Accretion is the accumulation of soil that collects over time due to the natural water flow. Question 43. Donnie leaves his home to his third wife, Trish, with the clause that after her passing, the home goes to his first son, Logan. What type of interest does Logan have in the property? A. Life tenant estate. B. Life estate. C. Remainder man. D. Leasehold. The correct answer is C. Remainder man. A remainder man is a third-party interest in a property that will revert to them at the time a life tenant passes away. Question 44. New agent Matt is listing a home for sale, which was built in 1965. What disclosure should Matt have the seller complete due to the age of the home? A. Lead-based paint. Disclosure. B. Mold disclosure. C. Radon. Disclosure. D. Asbestos. Disclosure. The correct answer is A. Lead-based paint. Disclosure. Properties constructed prior to 1978 fall under the federal requirement to provide buyers with a lead-based paint disclosure. Question 45. Part of Agent Connie's listing packet includes a form for the seller to complete that covers the components of the home for sale and the seller's knowledge of the condition of such items. This form is referred to as A. Home inspection report. B. Seller's condition report. C. Listing amendment. D. Seller's disclosure. The correct answer is D. Seller's disclosure. The seller's disclosure form lets the seller convey knowledge they have regarding their property to a potential buyer. This is where a seller can list any updates made or repairs needed to the best of their knowledge. Question 46. Mary and Mark are buying their first home, which was built just 3 years ago. After touring the property, which seems to be in good repair, they waive their right to a home inspection, not anticipating any issues. After closing and moving in, they find that some of the ductwork in the crawl space has fallen and is no longer attached, causing all the air to be released under the home. They are upset that the seller did not mention the issue, and when asked, the seller states they had no idea that had happened. Is the seller at fault for not disclosing this issue to the buyers? A. Yes, the seller should disclose all issues. B. No, the seller had no knowledge of the issue. C. Yes, the seller must provide a home inspection report. D. Yes, the seller should pay for the repairs. The correct answer is B. No, the seller had no knowledge of the issue. A seller's disclosure is not a warranty or guarantee that the home is free of issues. The seller can only disclose what they are aware of. The buyer has the responsibility of doing their due diligence in order to discover any unknown issues outside of those disclosed. Question 47. Leslie is showing her listing to some prospective buyer customers. Leslie grew up just down the road and knows this property was once used as a dump site many years ago. Does Leslie have to make the prospective buyers aware of this information since they are customers and not clients? A. No, the seller is responsible for disclosures. B. No, they are not clients. C. Yes, the agent must disclose. D. No, buyers are responsible for inspections. The correct answer is C. Yes, the agent must disclose. Agents owe clients and customers alike the disclosure of any possible environmental hazards. Question 48. Johnny's home is under contract, and the prospective buyers had a home inspection. The inspection noted some roof issues, which Johnny was not previously aware of. The buyers provided Johnny with a copy of the inspection and an inspection notice terminating the sales contract. What should Johnny do going forward? A. Drop the price drastically. B. Update the seller's disclosure to include the roof issues. C. Make any future buyers aware of the roof issues if they ask. D. He must repair the roof prior to sale. The correct answer is B. Update the seller's disclosure to include the roof issues. A seller must disclose any issues with the property or repairs needed which they are aware of. Once the home inspection revealed a roof repair is needed, the seller's disclosure should be updated to reflect the newfound knowledge prior to new prospective buyers receiving the disclosure. Question 49. Disclosure law specifics vary by state, however. In which type of transaction would the seller's property disclosure generally not be required? A. Residential arm's length transaction. B. Triplex purchase. C. Residential foreclosure. D. Mobile home purchase. The correct answer is C. Residential foreclosure. A foreclosure sale is exempt from the seller's disclosure requirements due to the seller being the lender with little to no knowledge of the property's specifics. Question 50. A listing agreement in writing creates which form of agency? A. Negligent agency. B. Implied agency. C. Express agency. D. Ostensible agency. The correct answer is C. Express agency. A written listing agreement creates an expressed agency. The agency relationship is expressed in writing. Question 51. In compliance with fair housing regulations, any deed restriction or covenant that would prohibit the conveyance of the property to a member of a protected class is A. Legal. B. Is not legal, considered void, and unenforceable. C. Will stand in court. D. Valid. The correct answer is B. Is not legal, considered void, and unenforceable. In compliance with fair housing regulations, any deed restriction or covenant that would prohibit the conveyance of the property to members of a protected class is not legal, considered void, and unenforceable. Question 52. A fiduciary who holds or controls property for the benefit of another is called A. A beneficiary. B. A grantor. C. A trustee. D. A grantee. The correct answer is C. A trustee. A trustee is a fiduciary who holds or controls property for the benefit of another. Question 53. A contract between two parties, both giving a promise for a promise is called A. Unilateral contract. B. Bilateral contract. C. Special agreement. D. Collusion. The correct answer is B. Bilateral contract. A contract between two parties that make promises to each other to perform is called a bilateral contract. Question 54. Shane is offering an open listing on his home to all local brokers. Shane has offered to pay a 3% commission to the broker that brings him a ready, willing, and able buyer. What type of contract did Shane offer? A. Bilateral contract. B. Unenforceable contract. C. Void contract. D. Unilateral contract. The correct answer is D. Unilateral contract. A unilateral contract is when only one party agrees to perform under certain circumstances. Question 55. To be enforceable, real estate contracts must be in writing according to the A. Real Estate Commission. B. Statute of Frauds. C. Federal Real Estate Act. D. Sherman Antitrust Act. The correct answer is B. Statute of Frauds. Statute of Frauds states to be enforceable real estate contracts, and the transfer of property must be in writing. Question 56. All parties entering into a real estate contract must be doing so on their own free will and not under duress. Which of the following is not a requirement to enter into a real estate contract? A. Parties must be U.S. citizens. B. Parties must have proper authority. C. Parties must be mentally competent. D. Parties must be of legal age. The correct answer is A. Parties must be U.S. citizens. All parties to a contract must be of legal age, mentally competent, and have proper authority to enter into a valid contract. All parties to the contract do not have to be U.S. citizens. Question 57. A valid contract must contain valuable consideration, which means A. No personal property items. B. Cash only. C. Something clearly offered for something else in exchange. D. None of the above. The correct answer is C. Something clearly offered for something else in exchange. A valid contract must contain a two-party exchange of valuable consideration and performance. Question 58. In order for a contract to convey ownership in a property transaction, the contract must include A. Surface rights. B. A legal description. C. Rights of survivorship. D. The full bundle of rights. The correct answer is B. A legal description. In order for a contract to convey ownership in a property, the contract must include a legal description that describes the property so that its geographic location is identifiable. Question 59. Which of the following is not a requirement for a contract to be valid and enforceable? A. Competent parties. B. Authority. C. Notarization. D. Valuable consideration. The correct answer is C. Notarization. The required components of a valid contract include competent parties, legal purpose, voluntary good faith, mutual consent, and valuable consideration. Question 60. In a real estate transaction, when someone is forced into a contract by intimidation or some other type of coercion, it is called A. Bullying, B. Duress, C. Stress, D. Strong-arming. The correct answer is B. Duress. When someone is forced into a contract by intimidation or some other type of coercion, this is known as acting under duress. Question 61. A contract that does not have all the necessary elements of a contract is A. Valid. B. Void. C. Enforceable by insinuation. D. Legally binding. The correct answer is B. Void. A contract that does not have all the necessary elements of a contract is void and unenforceable by either party. Question 62. Leon entered into a contract that called for $1,000 in monetary damages if the contract was breached. The $1,000 in the contract is referred to as A. Retainer fee. B. Breach fine. C. Liquidated damages. D. Lis pendens. The correct answer is C. Liquidated damages. When a contract calls for a specified amount of monetary compensation, earnest money, to be paid to one party of the contract upon a breach of contract, this is referred to as liquidated damages. Question 63. After the offer and acceptance, when the terms of a contract are in the process of being completed, and prior to closing, the contract is said to be A. Executory. B. Amended. C. Rescinded. D. Lis pendens. The correct answer is A. Executory. When the terms of a contract are in the process of being completed, the contract is said to be executory. Question 64. A person makes an offer to purchase a property that was shown to them by their broker, but then waits to present the offer to the seller until later that day. In the meantime, 2 more offers were submitted on the property. Under the rule of agency, the offer, A, is considered to be void because only one offer at a time can be placed on a property. B, must be presented alongside the other offers to allow the seller to make a fair choice. C, must wait to be presented to the seller because the other offers take priority in order. D, must be presented first because the offer was known by the broker before the others. The correct answer is B, must be presented alongside the other offers to allow the seller to make a fair choice. Under the rule of agency, all offers must be presented to the seller. Question 65. Sharon made an offer on her dream home and to show the seller she was a serious buyer, she offered a sum of money to be held in escrow that she will forfeit if she does not fulfill her end of the deal. What is the sum of money to be held in escrow as a good faith deposit called? A. Pre-funding deposit. B. Broker deposit. C. Earnest money. D. Purchase promise. Deposit. The correct answer is C. Earnest money. A contract can include earnest money to be held in escrow as a good faith deposit, which is applied toward the purchase price at closing. Question 66. Once all terms of a contract have been fulfilled and the transaction has closed, the contract status is said to be fully A. Rescinded. B. Executed. C. Insured. D. Amended. The correct answer is B. Executed. Once all terms of a contract have been fulfilled and the transaction closed, the contract is fully executed. Question 67. John signs a 6-month lease on an apartment beginning January 1st and ending June 30th. His lease does not automatically renew and no notice is required on his part to vacate on the expiration date. What type of lease did John sign? A. Estate at will. B. Estate from period to period. C. Estate for months. D. Estate for years. The correct answer is D. Estate for years. An estate for years is a lease for a fixed period of time rather than month to month that does not automatically renew and requires no notice to terminate at the end of the term. Question 68. What duty does an agent acting as a property manager owe a property owner? A. Principal duties. B. Fiduciary duties. C. Legal duties. D. Regulatory duties. The correct answer is B. Fiduciary duties. A property management agreement creates a general agency between the property owner and the licensee. Therefore, a property manager owes the property owner fiduciary duties. The fiduciary duty requires the agent to act in the property owner's best interest. Question 69. A property management contract should include all of the following, except A. Signatures of the property owner and licensee. B. Duration of the agreement. C. Signature of the tenant. D. Management fee. The correct answer is C. Signature of the tenant. The property management agreement is an employment contract between the property owner and the agent licensee. A tenant will sign a lease, but not the property management agreement. Question 70. Sally wants to transfer the title of her property to her granddaughter. Which of the following are ways to voluntarily transfer title to a property? A. Sales contract. Will. Sazin. B. Will. Grant. Deed. C. Title certificate. Escheat. Deed. D. Escheat. Will. Grant. The correct answer is B. Will. Grant. Deed. Title to property can be voluntarily transferred by a will, grant, or deed. Question 71. When someone passes away with a valid will in place, it is referred to as A. Testate. B. Intestate. C. Escheat. D. Appurtenant. The correct answer is A. Testate. Testate is the term for passing away with a valid will in place. Question 72. A title search revealed a lien on a property, which creates a cloud on the title. How may the landowner go about resolving this title issue? A. By requesting a chain of title. B. By letting the lien expire. C. Writing a letter to the judge asking that it be dismissed. D. Paying the debt and filing a stratification of judgment. The correct answer is D. Paying the debt and filing a stratification of judgment. A lien may be terminated by paying the existing debt, receiving a satisfaction of judgment, and filing the documentation with the court. Question 73. Liens on a title may be voluntary or involuntary. Which of the following is an example of a voluntary lien? A. Mortgage. B. Judgment. C. Child support lien. D. Tax lien. The correct answer is A. Mortgage. A mortgage places a lien on the property which is voluntary in nature and not force placed by the courts. Question 74. Donnie's neighbor Paul has an easement to cross Donnie's property to get to his own. The easement is recorded and transfers with the land if either Donnie or Paul sell their property. When an easement is on a title, it is an example of an A. encroachment, B. estoppel, C. encumbrance, D. equitable title. Such encumbrance is important to identify as it may affect the value and/or utility of the property. Question 75. Escrow agent Emily will use what legal instrument to transfer real property from the seller to the buyer on closing day? A. Title certificate, B. Deed, C. Bill of sale, D. Settlement statement. The correct answer is B. Deed. A deed is the legal instrument used at closing to transfer real property from the seller to the buyer. Question 76. What type of title bears the most protection for the property owner? A. Quitclaim deed, B. Sheriff's deed, C. Warranty deed, D. Beneficiary deed. The correct answer is C. Warranty deed. A warranty deed provides the most protection for a property owner and includes the guarantee of season, encumbrances, right to quiet enjoyment, further assurance, and warranty forever. Question 77. On closing day, who signs the deed to transfer the property from seller to buyer? A. The buyer, B. The seller, C. The buyer, seller, D. The seller and escrow agent. The correct answer is B. The seller. Only the seller or grantor is required to execute the deed to convey property to the buyer. No other parties are required to sign the deed at closing. Question 78. When agents get together and have a discussion regarding setting a fixed commission rate so that they are all charging the same rate, this conversation violates what act? A. Homestead Act, B. Fair Housing Act, C. ADA Act, D. Sherman Antitrust Act. The correct answer is D. Sherman Antitrust Act. This activity among agents constitutes price fixing. Price fixing is a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. Question 79. What duty requires an agent to place the client's best interest above all others? A. Honesty, B. Loyalty, C. Respect, D. Obedience. The correct answer is B. Loyalty. The agent's duty of loyalty requires the agent to put the client's best interest above all others. Question 80. Steve tells listing agent Shelley his basement leaks, but only when it rains hard for long periods of time, so no need to mention it to buyers. He insists it's really no big deal. Which of the following is true? A. Shelley must be obedient and not mention it. B. Shelley should trust her client. It's no big deal. C. Cannot withhold known material facts. Not disclosing a material fact would be illegal, and the agent does not have to obey the seller in this situation. Question 81. If an agent is accused of puffing, what does that mean? A. Fraud, B. Lies, C. Misrepresentation, D. Exaggeration. The correct answer is D. Exaggeration. Puffing can be an exaggeration that does not fit the description of misrepresentation. For example, this home has the most gorgeous view of any home anywhere. Exaggerated opinion, but not a misrepresentation of a material fact. Question 82. Describing the property would be acceptable in advertising. However, describing the type of buyer desired would be considered A. Descriptive advertising, B. Discriminatory, C. Target marketing, D. Effective advertising. The correct answer is B. Discriminatory. In advertising, describing the property would be acceptable. Describing the type of buyer desired would be considered discriminatory and a violation of fair housing laws. Question 83. Betsy is working with buyers under a written buyer's agency agreement. The buyers decide they want to purchase a home that Betsy has listed. If Betsy does not obtain permission in writing from all parties to represent both parties, she would create A. Single agency, B. Dual agency, C. Specific agency, D. Undisclosed, dual agency. The correct answer is D. Undisclosed, dual agency. All parties to a contract must agree in writing to the dual agency. Undisclosed dual agency is created by representing both parties in a transaction without disclosing the relationship to all parties. Question 84. Ben listed his home with Agent Carey. He told her he wanted a minimum of $225,000, and anything over and above that amount she could keep as commission. This type of compensation arrangement is called A. Net listing, B. Reverse listing, C. Normal listing, D. Exclusive agency listing. The correct answer is A. Net listing. While not actually a listing type, net listings occur when a seller sets a minimum net proceeds amount, and the agent may keep any amount over that, as commission, making it a commission agreement rather than a listing type. Net listings, which are illegal in most states. Question 85. Davis is a subagent of listing agent Luke. Who does Davis work for? A. Buyer, B. Seller, C. Buyer and seller, D. Luke. The correct answer is B. Seller. A subagent of the listing agent works for the seller. Question 86. Only showing homes in a certain part of town to people of a certain nationality is called A. Panic selling, B. Redlining, C. Blockbusting, D. Steering. The correct answer is D. Steering. Only showing homes in a certain part of town to people of a certain nationality is called steering and a violation of fair housing laws. Question 87. A Hispanic man called a landlord regarding a home for rent online. The landlord tells him the property is already rented. His white friend then calls